mean, I think that's what's happening. I have no clue what's going on. Yes, Stalker, it is Megaran. I do not know what's happening with Pretzel. It is giving me all manner of hip hop song, which is great. If it wasn't for the fact that I did not want to talk over people talking.
Right.
Thank you, Anka, for pointing that out earlier. That was a fire song as well. Don't remember what it was, but was not expecting it.
I'm going to suggest to you that you open up your Spotify account and look up chill hop music and then just bless yourself.
So Pretzel has a similar station, and I've been using this hip hop station for about a year now, or for almost as long as I've been using Pretzel, and I have it selected to where it should be instrumental only. But for some reason today, it woke up and chose violence. It's like, no, we're just going to give you everything. I hope it is still YouTube safe, because if it's not, boy, am I fucked. There will only be an audio podcast this week. Anywho, it chose violence. Oh no! I'm again not saying that it's bad music. I'm not saying it's bad music. I will listen to this, but it's the fact that it decided it wanted to play music that it normally doesn't play when I have the playlist up. So hey, I'm just gonna apparently rock with it today. This Thursday, Tech Talk Thursdays for February 11th, 2021. I'm one of your hosts, Marcus Major Linux Summers. Of course, I'm joined this week and every week. The man with the green screen, the streamer, formerly known as KKS Gaming. It's your boy Kev is in the building.
Hey.
If I'm gonna refer to you as Prince, though, it would help if you did what I did, get purple instead of green. But that's just me. Anywho, I'm also joined this week.
Most weeks.
Like most weeks, whining and chilling, grubbing on probably the most delicious food that any of us have ever had. Cinziak is in the building.
The Pinot Grigio is ready. Like,
are you sipping on Pinot Grigio?
It's a Chenin Blanc, actually.
See,
but do I have Pinot Grigio? Yes.
See, Sin has to be the more cultured out of all of us.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm over here sipping purple Kool-Aid. Okay. That's right. So I refer to it by the color and not the flavor, and that's what we're gonna do.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm drinking some Canada Dry right now.
I mean, that is exactly how that works. Also, let me tell y'all about Midian wine. All I know is that it is actually wine because it comes from a wine company I do website maintenance for. I don't know anything. I'm not a sommelier or any of that stuff. What I do know is that it was someone's birthday, and I decided that for the sake of it being a special occasion, I would finally open this one bottle. I've had it sitting in my refrigerator for a couple of years now.
I bet it's aged. It tastes delicious.
I mean, I have fun fact, I have 3 cases of things because I haven't yet developed the regular habit of having wine just to have some. Normally when I have some, it's it's someone's birthday, there's a wedding, there's there's something going on. And so today was the birthday of one Gloss and Gadgets. So Leonie had a birthday today.
Gloss.
Gloss had Gloss has her, it was their birthday today. And so I was kind of like, you know something? We're going to pop a bottle for that. That is exactly what we're going to do. And I don't know, just the one. So now I have this whole bottle of wine sitting out here on the table. We're not even going to call it a leveled up beverage. We're just going to tell you it's wine.
Hey, there you go.
I did decide to pair it up with dinner. Your white, what I can tell you is that generally speaking, your white wines like this go with white meat. So I'm having shrimp and chicken, and that pairs well with these. Your red wines pair well with your red meats, but I'm not eating steak. And that is why we do not have red in here.
Mm-hmm.
And see, you learn something.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, our McDonald's and Xbox connoisseur, the GOAT, Hideo Sanaka, is feeling a little bit under the weather.
Right.
So she'll be sitting this one out. She's sitting out the podcast, but she's still in the stream, still in the chat. So, hey, Anga, if you have anything you would like to share, more than welcome to. Try to read it. Mm-hmm. I'm not the fastest reader, but hey. So, gentlemen, how's everything been going with you? How has life been treating you?
Got a green screen.
Dang.
Yep, pretty good.
How does it feel to be famous?
Feels pretty good. Feels pretty good. Ain't gonna lie. Feels pretty good.
Feel like in Twisted, yeah, exactly. See, again, like if you come to the channel any other day, it's more like an ex-president stream where it's just like me just like shotgunning Diet Cokes all the time.
Right, and it's also
and
also like
here for the extra.
Yep, and also like a Twisted, Sin is sometimes in his robe, so that also works.
I mean, you know something? If we want to make the full comparison, I can just step over to the side real quick and go grab like a bathrobe.
Oh my goodness! See, that's why I bring Sin in. I bring Kevin, bring Anka in. They gotta class up the joint a little bit because whatever I got, like it may look good over here, but it's trash city. Let's face it. Mm-hmm. Ain't nothing but sodas happening over here. Maybe a cheeseburger. Things I shouldn't be having. Mm-hmm. Things where if Telia found out I was consuming them in large quantities, she would be over to dude, what are you doing?
Oh yeah. Telia would definitely say something.
Gotta do this. Shh. Don't tell Telia.
I ain't gonna say nothing. Now, if you mentioned her, she might pop up.
And that's the scary thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how many times have we mentioned the name already?
Yep. How many times we say
was, please open up your twitter.com account and please at Temptress Telia to tell her he's eating cheeseburger. Oh no.
So on that note, I'm just gonna leave this running and I'm gonna walk away.
For real.
I'm just not here. Not here. I left a stream unattended. Twitch, come get me. Anyway, we got some tech and gaming news to get into this week. It seemed like it was a fairly light week, but that's just in the quantity. The quality of the stories might surprise you. First off, if you got an email from Slack over the weekend, you might want to go change your password. Just company's Android app was accidentally logging credentials in plain text. Wait a second. Ah, crap. I forgot to do something. I now notice that Sin is missing. Give me a second. Where did
Uh-oh.
I didn't need to see him. See, that's shade right there.
Uncle disappeared.
I looked up and wait, why is Anka here? Sorry about that, Sid. See, Anka, we miss you. The company's Android app was accidentally logging credentials in plain text and affected customers are being notified via email to reset their passwords. Slack, come on, like, are y'all playing the Zoom game today?
That definitely sounds like some Zoom tactics, right? That's a page from the Zoom.
Y'all been in this game for a long time. Like what?
Zoom just out here wilding. You hate to see it.
Affected customers are also asked to wipe their Android app's data to get rid of those logs which are still hanging around in your phone storage. Storing your login credentials in plain text.
Wow. Yep.
What is
Be some reason that this is happening, but I cannot imagine what it is when two-factor is a thing, when encryption is a thing, and has long established been a thing. Why are y'all storing things in plain text? For what reason?
That. Mm-hmm.
like
I point my sweet tart rope in agreement. That.
But see, part of me wonders that even if you have two-factor authentication, is that going to solve the issue? Because like it will still show your password. I don't. Oh boy, the virtual Android.
That really just comes down to just bad management. I mean, that really just comes down to bad management. Like bro,
who developed it? Who put that up? Like someone had to just like wrote some wrong code somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Because it seems like it's affecting like a specific app version. If you have an updated version of the app, it's not bad. Like for me running Slack on an Android device, I have not gotten this email, so I think I'm okay. But then again, I'll also authenticate through Google through my job, so that may also be the reason why I am not receiving this email.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is crazy. So yeah, for those Android users out there, if you got that email, maybe go and update that password, please and thank you. We already know what it's like when you ain't being too careful, you're being sloppy out there.
Mm-hmm. Tighten it up, y'all.
On that list of things, something. This is not the time for that tech rant, but I will have one.
Please.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna let you get to the end of the tech section.
Okay.
I feel like that's fair.
Apparently, somebody downstairs has turned off my lights, and I don't like that at all.
Uh-oh.
I was wondering why I got dark in here all of a sudden.
Whoa.
Researcher breaches systems of over 35 companies, including Apple, Microsoft, and PayPal. Apparently, with this one, a security researcher put in some bad code in some open source software. Nobody bothered to check that. And then all of these companies decided they wanted to download they downloaded the malware into their applications.
Whew.
Luckily for them,
Father God in heaven.
Luckily for them, it was of the security researcher to where, like, I guess, like, once the code ran, it notified the researcher, hey, this is where your code is being executed. And then he reached out to those companies to say, hey, you've downloaded my terrible code. Pay me some money. and not malicious pay me money, more or less like, hey, I found a security exploit. I heard y'all got bounty programs.
Yep. So I'm calling the bounty.
Yeah, so Microsoft awarded $40,000 and released a white paper. Apple released or paid out some money. Burson, who was the researcher, has now earned over $130,000.
That's not a bad hustle.
No, it's not bad, and like it's all above board.
Right, just release bad code, let somebody's dumbass like pick it up, and be like, "Hey, you got bad code," and then like pays me the monies. Where the money reside? Where the money? Like, what hook your bad boy up. Like that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, white hat hacking pays pretty well. Especially when these companies put out these bounty programs. Like, I mean, they offer some money for that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And just for the people in the chat who may not be aware, most companies that are in the tech industry do offer money to people, like especially the large ones that can afford that budget, do offer rewards to people who find exploits to their software because it benefits them to know.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the thing, like, right? We're not out here with people being like, I'm holding whole companies hostage. Companies literally pay people. Like, it's kind of, if you've seen The Social Network where they were just like, hey, like, build this thing or have a hackathon or something like that, and whoever manages to do X in like 24 hours gets like extra money for stuff or gets hired by a company, that's real stuff that happens.
Yes.
I mean,
when it comes to
they have these conversations. I mean, these like competitions at DEF CON or Black Hat. I can't remember which one. One's worse than the other, but both of them are equally bad and are good times to stay away from Vegas. Once we can have in-person conventions again. Just
You're not
remember,
wrong.
Just remember, if you were planning a trip to Vegas, look up DEF CON, look up Black Hat, and maybe schedule a vacation a month before or after those conventions. Don't go during that time.
And just for everyone's notes, because again, we're probably going to have one of those moments of being like, what do these things and terms and all that other stuff mean? When we talk about things like white hat, black hat, and gray hat, we're talking about a scale of people with hacking and ethics and how those things combine. Black hat hackers will just do what they need to do to like straight up fuck you up. Like, those are the people that they make movies about. It's those people.
When you say hackers, those are the ones you think of.
Right? Like, they're the ones who do the bad things. White hat hackers are usually the people who, like maybe hack their own systems or hack systems they have very explicit approval for. And most of the time they're just like, I'm not really over here trying to break into things.
People like this guy in this article.
I will use those skills if they are called upon to do. And then you have gray hat, where it's kind of in between. I'm not literally out here trying to be malicious, but if it serves my purposes, I know how. Or to quote every Black person who's ever lived, I haven't always been saved. I'll go ahead and hack that real quick.
So yeah, with this one here, the attack involved uploading malware to open source repositories, including PyPy. Not sure what that is. It looks like a Python module. npm, which is another Python module, and Ruby gems, which I guess is a Ruby module. Python being a programming language or a scripting language. Ruby also is a programming scripting language. Which were then automatically distributed downstream into the various companies' internal applications. So essentially, somebody went to GitHub. Let's see here. I'll open up mine. I'll just show you what we're talking about here. Somebody opened up GitHub, decided to modify a bunch of open source code, re-upload it, and then a lot of companies who use code like this in their internal applications, they just pulled it down without really inspecting what the code is. Now, on this show, and you've probably heard me or many other people who support open source software so much say, hey, open source software is the most secure. I will still stand by that statement, even though this just happened in open source software, because it was literally put in the code. Anybody could have saw it, but whoever was using this code in particular did not look at it. So that's an issue for the people who were writing the code, who were borrowing the open source code, that didn't check to make sure everything was sanitized. Having things being put in open source code where everybody can see what it exactly is that you wrote keeps everybody honest, but it involves you having to go look and see what's being uploaded, what's being put in that code, and make sure everything is up to snuff. The good thing about this is, because it was uploaded into internal tools, none of this got out into the public. And I imagine somewhere in that chain, if this was being used in public, like in generally available software, it would have been caught. But I think because the fact that this was just used internally, nobody, like, it wasn't expected to go out to anybody. It was probably used in testing software that these companies use. Nobody was really looking. I mean, it's like me, like, I will go and probably download shady shit just to know that, like, I put it in a safely contained area to use it for a small little thing and throw it away, make sure I never have it again. Because there are definitely websites and places I go to that I definitely do not trust.
Not at all.
Let's see. There was a tweet. Need to remember where you put it. Where is it? Okay, so that one actually is on Twitter. Give me a second. Yeah, I gotta scroll down just a little bit. There we go. Okay, there we go. Okay, so the researcher noticed some of the manifest file packages were not present on the public NPM repository, but were instead PayPal's privately created NPM packages used to store internally by the company. On seeing this, the researcher wondered, should a package by the same name exist in the public NPM repository in addition to private Node.js repository? Which one would get priority? To test this hypothesis, Burson began hunting for names of private internal packages that he could find in manifest files on GitHub repositories or in CDNs of prominent companies, but did not exist in a public open source repository. Okay, so even then too, okay. Actually, that puts that more into context. So apparently, what it seems like this dude did was created packages that companies were using that they had created privately. But it's like, so they have multiple repositories, multiple places where the software is stored. And say, hey, if it does not exist publicly, it must be a private one. Pull it privately. But we don't have any time. We don't have time to, work out that logic. So pull it from wherever you found it. Apparently, what it seems like this dude did was create these custom packages in the public version. So when they pulled it down, so like when the companies pulled down these software packages for updates, they said, oh, it's in the public. We'll just use that one instead. Which actually contained a malicious code.
Ooh.
So it was a thing of like they didn't even need to go check and see where that code came from because they assumed it came from their private repository as opposed to the public one. And nobody bothered to look. Nobody bothered to check on that. So yeah, I don't know. Like if you're going to sit there and have things pulled down from Puppet or Chef or whatever you're doing to manage your code, yeah, maybe put it in that logic to make sure, or like, I don't know, stop, like just make, if you have private software that isn't available anywhere else, but you've kind of mirrored the repository, maybe not look out in public. Let's just don't do that. That just sounds really dumb. Like, at least for our Red Hat software that we have on at NC State, we use a private Linux repository to get all of our packages. It gets updated from Red Hat, but somebody's verifying that those packages are legit, and then we could pull it for the university. Yeah, that's just a bad move.
Really?
That's just a bad move. That don't go pulling things from public if you don't have to. It's crazy. Kind of in gaming news, but because Epic is doing a whole bunch of weird things, they do sets for the Mandalorian and shit like that too. Epic made a MetaHuman.
I remember hearing something about this. A little bit.
I am a MetaHuman.
So
Next generation of digital human powered by them.
So they've created a tool. They've created a dev tool that allows you to be able to create humans to be used in digital products that look real as shit.
Oh, like, hey, did you want to make the next Detroit Become Human game too? I really hope you fucking don't. But if you did,
yeah, don't make that shit.
And like, this is without having to use face scanning or anything. Like it Like these are just fully programmable. Like you could actually I think there's another video that kind of shows them doing all of this in real time. And of course, all my Epic notifications showed up as soon as I played this video too.
Like, oh.
Oh, you're talking Epic.
You talk about Epic.
See, I'm trying. There was a. Oh, are they not suggesting that one to me? There was another one they showed. Okay, yeah, this is it. So it's kind of showing like how they can modify what people look like, you know, switching people from like old man to young woman, and how they can, you know, kind of keep going without skipping a beat. China already has something like this for a news anchor. Like I don't doubt it at all. And it's like, this is crazy as shit, man. Like Fortnite's gonna be fucking wild if they keep going with this.
Like imagine this in the confines and context of maybe like a Sims.
You know what? I thought about that too. Was yo, what if they license this tech to EA and like Sims 6 was just like fucking real people in a house speaking Simlish?
Yeah. Like if they could access this with like VTubers.
Okay, at a certain point, you're getting to diminishing returns. Like, at what point are you just like not being you at this point? Or unless you are creating like a VTuber of a different person entirely.
I mean, that's like the way I've been looking at and seeing the whole VTuber thing happening. Like,
it's like, you know what? I'm getting harassed as a black man on Twitter, so I'm gonna MetaHuman myself to look like somebody completely different, and maybe they won't harass me as much.
I mean, that's right up there on the VTubing.
Yeah, that's what I realized after I said it. Like, okay, yeah, they are definitely not trying to look like themselves.
They're like far from it, you know. Like,
this is crazy, man.
Yeah, it's like
honestly, I would be impressed with this if like, all right, if games got to a point to where like they were like most of them were super photorealistic, and this was the character creator as opposed like this was the character creator that the player got as opposed to the developer.
Imagine
like I can create myself finally in a video game.
Like imagine if they'd had something to that degree in Andromeda. Like that game probably would have scored a lot higher than it did. Just like I mean it's intriguing, and I think it's really cool. You know, and I'd like to see it done in different applications, but I'm like, it's like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, Tycho mentioned like we've had it with LA Noire, but see, I think this is different.
This is way different.
Yeah, this is different because like with LA Noire, like yeah, they were scanning faces.
Right.
This is something like, no, this is just all software. These people do not exist in real life. Unless like you made them in the creator to look like like you made it look like that person. Like this wasn't just like a face scan of a person that existed. Like no, like you started from a blank slate and then you created a person.
Yeah.
And then that motherfucker looks real as shit.
Yeah. Like watching like DJ like doing his like Star Citizen stuff, and the way he like has it set up for like webcam based, and it's like facial tracking, and then you can see like the dots, you can see like the little like basically the webcam is scanning his face and like watching his lip movements and expressions, and like somewhat mimicking that is to a degree kind of it's like kind of that, but this takes what happens in Star Citizen to a grander scale. Like, so very intriguing.
This is something they need to implement into NBA 2K games if they want a mod player. Like, we need to go ahead and get this set up with whatever kind of camera tech, and somebody's going like, all right, let's get this MetaHuman thing in, so I can finally be in NBA 2K 29 with a character that looks like me. I'm just saying.
Right.
If this is like, this would be creepy if they were like making fake people to say terrible things, but it'd be great if they can put this in video games, and I can finally be in them.
I kind of feel like that's going to be coming.
Yeah, I mean, like, the deepfake situation is already kind of like, oh boy, this is a mess.
Well, I mean, like, it's okay. So, to be fair about the deepfaking thing, which I suppose is a valid concern, it's like, oh, they were already doing this stuff. It's now just like, we made this easier to do for more people.
Yeah.
But, like, the amount of people who are already out here doing the whole thing, like, you know, considering that the people who were doing it at the time that this kind of stuff was at its peak were literally doing it to disrupt the whole process of democracy. I'm like, you know, well, I mean, y'all got 4 years worth of time. We might as well let y'all have this little toy to play with as a treat so y'all can make, like, more Biden memes, I guess.
It's just, yeah, it bums, like, the tech is cool, but it really bums me out how people have been using it so far. It's like, yeah, this is, it ain't great. It ain't great.
Yeah. It's like, oh, it's cool. Wonder how people are gonna fuck it up. It's like,
we can never have nice things.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Oh, apparently they fixed this, but Google apps or iOS were showing sign-in warnings and amid lack of updates. Luckily I didn't see this, and apparently, like, they fixed this really quick. Like, I think I opened Gmail today for work and I didn't see anything, but it seems like this was also happening if you were signing in. So, yeah, Gmail or Google has been behind on the iOS updates. They've been promising that they would give us updates to these iOS apps, given the whole, nutritional facts of what your app is doing in the background to take your data that Google still has not updated to provide that information. Also, they still have not updated either because of the fact that they had that tracking thing that would have flagged the alert on iOS, and they didn't want to have to do that. So they were trying to remove it so that when you update the app, it would ask you the question. Yeah, Google is falling a little behind on sending those updates to iOS users. So yesterday, people were getting getting these notifications when they were signing into Google apps that there were some security issues, that they needed to update to the latest version of an app, which did not exist, which technically still doesn't exist. So yeah, not sure what Google's hiding here, but they need to go ahead and fix their shit so that way, I can have the latest updates and not be exploited, because hackers don't sleep. The black, well, neither of them, black hat, gray hat, white hat, I'm pretty sure are all working on some shit. But yeah, we need this hurried up so I can, safely and securely use my Google apps, because I would like to continue to use them because they are nice. Well, I'm gonna use Gmail for work, and I think that's about the only really, I think it's like the only Google app that I use now. I think. I mean, outside of whatever's on Android, but my Android apps are up to date. They're fine. And moving on to gaming news. Well, that was quick. That really kind of caught me off guard. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot.
Today, someone got on the airwaves of the Twitter sphere and informed us they were very curious about how it was that so many people had changed jobs every year for a whole 5 to 8 year tenure on their course of tech work.
Wait, was that it? I'm confused. I'm very curious as to where this is going.
It's a
Giving
pause.
myself a moment. I'm giving
excuse me.
myself a moment.
Man, I ruined it.
It's a pause.
There was a pause, a very healthy pause.
It's a pause for dramatic effect.
Okay, got you. Gotta let the audio listen to stuff.
Dear people who get on the Twitter with the spicy tech tweets.
Spicy.
It is 2021 and the year of Shirley Chisholm on Bob Dole's internet. And y'all are still asking the same basic ass questions. Please stop. Y'all have been asking, y'all asked this question in 2000, in 2004, in 2008, in 2009, in 2012, in 2015 about people changing jobs every year. You want to know what would prevent people from doing all of that stuff? Paying them money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Commensurate with their experience as they develop them in your offices. That would probably help. Giving them the respect that they are due and the accolades they are due, and vacation time would help. Healthy work culture, probably a good thing. You know, any of that stuff. We have left article after article after article after blog after news article after expose after documentary and everything else about the problems that people face that make them jump from one job to another. And because y'all don't feel like fixing it, then we go, okay, bet if someone calls me and says that they're about to bump me up $20,000, give me 2 extra weeks of vacation time, I'm a peace out and I'm not going to worry about it. And then you have the nerve to sit here with your thin lips and your ashy receding hairlines and then say something like, why do y'all change jobs every year?
Because they go,
you know
where
what?
the money reside, where the money reside, where the money reside, the money reside. I'm like, I don't understand what the problem is.
You know, it's one of those things like maybe if you don't want me to change jobs every so often, or other people to change jobs every so often, because this is the thing, y'all set up the pattern in such a way that we have seen the only way to get y'all to do right by us is to leave.
Mm-hmm. That's really it.
Here, go ahead, hit me with that question in chat. Hit me with the question. I dare you to ask me how many times I have seen someone either threaten to leave or leave and come back and get paid more when they quit and came back than when they were there and just said politely, hey, this is the work that I've done. Here's my ability to track it. Would you mind bumping me up a couple of extra $1,000 a year? Ask me. Y'all sitting there with the same tired questions when we told you we would like places to be less racist. We would like them to be less sexist. We would like them to be less LGBTQIA plus phobic. We would like them to be less ableist. And y'all ain't do any of that. Like, I wish y'all would do something with all the free information we gave y'all about how to retain us and all this other stuff instead of just coming up on Twitter with the spicy takes and then getting fucking ratioed and then going, I wonder if we should do like an interview or a podcast for additional research. If y'all don't get the whole entire fuck out of my face. Stop playing in my face. And it's always white people who ask these questions. Stop playing in my face. If you work in the HR department or the recruiting department and act like y'all don't have access to statistics in Google.
Facts.
I'm gonna let the tech section of this podcast go off with that, but oh my god, that gets me heated. That gets me heated because they ask that question every year, act like people jumping from job to job in an industry that's as volatile as tech. Here, let me tell y'all something. In an industry where Netflix is reported to be the coolest place to they have a really cool work policy. Here's how it works. Are y'all ready? They hire people based on the best person in the industry to do it at the time. And when they are done with those services, they fire people. For that reason, Netflix is known to have an exceptionally high employee turnover on purpose. The fuck am I keeping a job longer than a year for if I don't have to in that kind of market?
Exactly. When you can easily just be like, yo, let me just go and find somebody else and go somewhere else where the money is. I don't understand what the issue is. I don't understand it.
The call right there, not that point too, because I mean you are like correct. And then just show of hands, real quick. How many of y'all live in an at-will employment state? Because that's me, where they can just be like, no matter what you did, no matter what the reason is, they can just fire you for no reason. They don't even owe you an explanation. That is a thing here. And in most places, in more than 50% of the country, that is the case. Right alongside that, let me see if I can find that real quick. The other thing right alongside that are the people who are just like, but if that happens to you, that's your fault. Because you weren't working hard enough to maintain everybody's attention and keep everyone's eyes on you to give you that recognition, that shine, that blow up or whatever. And it's like, so let me get this straight. You want me to come into this office, you want me to work for 60 to 80 hours a week, regardless of the situation, in order to prove that I am worth the level of attention and stuff you receive. And you just constantly go, but then you have to provide and continue to document the analytics and like what you've done and your accomplishments and how that has impacted the company. You want me to do all of that while grinding myself into a powder so that I can then just go, please, senpai, if you would, I would like just a morsel of your attention while I talk to you about getting my raise this year, please. You know, it's like, fuck out of here. Not when I could just go to a company, barely slide them half the paper, and they would be like, bitch, we will hire you immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Also, in the same market of asking why y'all change jobs every year is the job that says, in order for you to clean our bathrooms and sort the mail, we would like you to have 5 years of experience in PHP, Python, and JSON. We also want you to have excellent verbal and written communication skills. We need you to come to work every day in a suit and a tie. We would like you to also walk uphill in the middle of a fucking blizzard. Like, I don't understand these disrespectful questions in an area where people are just like more vocal than ever about everything that's wrong. The fuck is wrong with you?
It's almost as if you've heard about, my experience at UNC. Boy, it's a beef with UNC this week, but that's COVID related on this one. On that one, or you want to talk about
something to call while we're over here about like at the age that you are. Oh God, we're all a family here. Okay, you're a family here, but the day that you tell them, hey, I need a vacation real quick, I need to take a mental health day. We're a family, but I still need you to do your chores. That's basically what they're trying to tell you over here. Anyway, you know what? What I want to say about that is you being on a career path and being like, I feel like I'm going to be burnt out on it in like 6 years. This is what this tells me. That whole industry is hostile and it's that way by design. Y'all can't, it's something that I have been ranting about low-key on my LinkedIn for the last 5 years. Y'all keep trying to like recruit these like super people, like the words that y'all want to use for this are ridiculous, by the way. Be out here like, we want unicorn, ninja, rock stars, samurai people from outer space really and all this other stuff. And then y'all don't put the system structure, y'all don't have the systems, the structure, or for that matter, the want to in place to invest in people so that they can become those things. Y'all are just so used to having a whole market of people who are changing so often, you can literally just pull them off the street. And that's the same reason that all of these people who used to work for Lyft and Uber ended up getting fired when these companies got big enough to just be like, well, we don't need y'all anymore. We could like make laws around actually having to pay you what you're worth and develop you as a worker and as an employee and as a human being. I hate y'all. Right up there behind that sentiment is the amount of people who go, but if we do all of that and invest in them, then what if they leave?
Then they leave.
Y'all, we are leaving any the fuck way for the reason. We're leaving now because y'all won't do the things that we need you to do. So I mean,
it's like, why am I staying in a toxic ass environment that's not conducive to my success. That's stifling my growth. And if I can go somewhere where I can, where my talent is appreciated and they pay me my coins, I'm not going to stay there. I'm not my father. I'm not going to stay there at a job for like 30, 40 years, get a gold watch, get pushed out of the door for redundancy. Fuck you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm looking where the coin's at.
Especially not in a time when y'all have been missed every year for like the last 2 or 3 years, taking everything that you could in broad daylight because you didn't think we would see that shit. Or that we could do anything about it. Now when y'all are actively breaking up unions and people's ability to negotiate, and that stuff is being made public in real time. Y'all can go ahead and kick several rocks. Y'all can step on a bunch of D4s and Legos.
See, the thing is, for me though, like, it's not even about the money. It's never about the money. Like, I honestly wish I can just do what I do and just not have to worry about capitalism. I just don't want to have to worry about capitalism. I don't want to have to worry about, having to pay for shit instead of like working myself to the bone to get just what I need.
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing too. Like, capitalism makes this whole conversation a thing. If it weren't for capitalism, I would not have any of this to say.
Exactly.
Right.
Like, I mean, like for me, I took a pay cut. Granted, you can say a pay cut of 83 to 81.5 ain't much of a pay cut, but still, like, looking at something where I was always willing to sit there and look at a pay cut if it meant that I was in a less toxic environment. Granted, that grass is always greener on the other side. It will always look greener on the other side. Speaking as someone who recently had been, a victim of racial verbal abuse, something that could have been wholly prevented. During a call, which they were talking about a diversity training, which if you've, paid attention to what I put on the screen during all of this, some enterprising young students, maybe, I don't know who posted this on Reddit, provided a way to speed run the diversity training for your company or for your university. The fact that, the team that I work on did not give two shits about this diversity training, even after one of their coworkers should have just went through the fucking ringer for like 10 minutes. And again, like, it's that whole thing of asking, like, why is it turnaround? Well, because the fact that, we can sort of look at the pay, the disrespect, the busting up of unions, but it's just like the lack of empathy, the lack of support that employers give employees, especially of marginalized communities. Unfortunately, in that same token, a lot of us can't even move. We want to, but we can't.
Yes. Can't even move.
Because of those same walls that get put up of, hey, in order for you to lick my boot, you need 15 years of experience, and I'm only 12.
And I can't, like, it's that vicious cycle that I went through in the early days of doing what I do, because I myself don't, like, I'm trained for IT. I've gone to school for IT. I've gone through it, but I'm not in the industry because of the vicious cycle that is, in order to get a job in IT, you need to have experience. The only way to get experience is to get a job. The only way to get in a job is to get an experience. The only way and it's like this vicious cycle of, we need experience. I couldn't get an IT job at the school that trained me. I couldn't get an IT position at the school that trained me.
Wait, run that back one more time, Pastor.
Right. I could not get a job at the school that trained me. if they said that my abilities and my information, that my abilities were good enough for the workplace, but apparently not good enough for the place that I used to go to school in. So then that's a whole thing right there where you're like,
you know,
oh, you
something.
don't have enough experience.
Let me just go ahead and add a layer to that real quick. You know something? You were cool enough to give us $40,000 plus to train you, but not to hire you.
Guess what? I gave them heifers a dime. I'm on Pell Grant. I came out of school with no student debt. I would have been incensed if I had student debt. And then these jokers talk about, well, you might want to go back again. No, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back unless I go into a field where I'm guaranteed work. If I go back in AC repair. I'm going into electronic engineering. I'm going to be the electrician, or I'm going to fix people's AC units, because I'm going back to school for more IT. Like, that's it.
That's really dumb.
Like I'm going into a field where I can literally get a job in the field that I studied for.
Yeah, it's like the job that you and I that we do.
Yeah,
doesn't even require a degree, and it's weird.
It doesn't. Like, especially if you're in like basic IT, where mostly it's like, okay, update these drivers, push out these drivers, do tickets.
You know, like, it's one of those things where I know that there are some jobs that require very deep knowledge, very deep theoretical knowledge and applied knowledge, like astrophysics, being a surgeon, being like a pediatrician. But when you're talking about the tech industry, where things change on like the turn of a dime every 6 months, like clockwork, the amount of times I have seen people not get a job at a company because they don't have a degree, even though they have almost a decade of practical experience that directly applies to the job they're applying for. At this point, I'm convinced in most cases, and I'm talking like 8 times out of 10 when it comes to academia, for tech stuff, that is just a form of like elitism and gatekeeping. Like, it doesn't actually serve a purpose other than just being like, we can hire you or not hire you for this reason, and you can't get us in trouble for it by law.
Yep.
Yeah, I have a degree in computer science. Barely what I do is computer science.
Same. Like, every now and again, like, I fix an old lady's computer. Every now and again, I I work on like a church, church setup. Oh yeah, put this together. But I've have so many different hats now that I'm just like, I just do pretty much whatever, it comes up. But I do have a field in tech, and I can't do these things. But it's just kind of like, it's just upsetting. Where it's like, people know you and they know you have abilities in my town, and they just choose not to hire you because they want somebody else different. Like, oh, we were looking for somebody that was not that. We're looking for somebody that's not you, and that's really what it comes down to it.
Especially in the southeastern United States, there's a lot of, if you know people, you will get jobs no matter how qualified you are. If you don't know people, you will not get jobs, also, no matter how qualified you are.
Real talk.
You could have just literally left as the product management for Google. And they will like literally not hire you in Georgia for a startup company. If you don't know people.
Yep. Like, just basic ass city government, where you just like, hey, like, change these laptop batteries out. Like, swap a monitor out. Not like even full system implementation is not even hard as long as you do the backups.
Nope.
I really say so. All you do is do the backups, push that back, like swap everything over, push the backups.
I mean, to be fair, like I sit there and got my degree, one, because I did kind of wanted to go into software development, but then lost interest real early, got into Linux, but still continued the degree. Still took me 10 years to get it, but we won't talk about that. But it was a thing where I thought that that's what I needed. Again, not knowing any different, not having been in the field, or at least not in the field that I'm currently in. To where I realized, like, well, one, I look at it like this. Like, if I didn't go to college, I would have probably never gotten into Linux. So, I'll take that. If I never went to college, I never would have gotten all the experience that I had. It's whatever. But purely from a job standpoint, yeah, like I told people, like, look, here are the things you need to look into getting it at. Learn that shit. For me, though, it's at a point where, because I've got the degree, because I got the certs, it's a thing of, like, y'all have no reason to not hire me other than the color of my skin at this point.
Right. That's pretty much it. Like,
I've got everything you need and more. What the fuck? I've got the degree. I've got the certs. I've got, documentation and videos that show you I know exactly what it is the fuck I am doing.
Probably more qualified than the person interviewing me, but let's not.
Right.
So yeah, it's that whole thing of having that to where the only reason, like again, it's not needed. None of this is needed. I know what the fuck I'm doing, but yeah, it's like having it to say, all right, the only reason why you didn't hire me at this point was because I was black.
Pretty much.
And I'll let you. Oh, you're not. Oh, I'm hired. Okay, thank you. We'll keep it moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just tech has me feeling some kind of way over this particular week. So, wanted to throw that in there. Okay. I hope you enjoyed.
Well, that ruined that segue from about half an hour ago, but it's all good. Hey, remember we were talking about Google and Google not doing things properly? Well, apparently Google also didn't do things properly with Terraria's creator, and they're locked out of their account, which means that Terraria is no longer coming to Stadia.
Stadia.
The creator was like, hey, we've been locked out. We've been trying to reach out to them, and they're not letting us in, so fuck Stadia. But they do want to let people know that, hey, Terraria is still coming to Android. Like, that version hasn't been affected. But the tweet reads, quote, at Google, my account has now been disabled for over 3 weeks. I still have no idea why. And after using every resource I have to get this resolved, you have done nothing but given me the runaround.
Well, they're using gamer language.
Mm-hmm.
I bet they typed it all caps.
No, surprisingly, it was well capitalized and punctuated. The way I like to see a tweet.
Mm-hmm. Nicely constructed.
They were just like, I would like to give you this polite, but fuck you.
There you go.
They've gone on to say, I could take this no other way than you deciding to burn this bridge. Consider it burned. Hashtag Terraria for at Google Stadia. It's canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Quote, I will not be involved with a corporation that values their customers and partners so little. Doing business with you is a liability.
Woo.
Ooh.
With his whole chest.
The heat on that one.
Ooh.
Yikes.
The fire.
Oof. Oof. The tweet Fieri over here. I am upset about it.
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, y'all. Ugh. Go off, friend. Go off.
Google acting like they're not bothered about it, but
they've not really.
Not y'all just throwing, like, y'all just Not y'all throwing away a bag you don't have to because y'all didn't respond. You can't leave people on red.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Sundar is very unfazed.
But also, Terraria people, did y'all not just use the lost password function?
And see, that's the thing. Like, they don't go into why it's locked down. I mean, given again, it's no secret we were all part of the cookout. It's no secret. Like, I was tech admin for them, was tech lead for them. Having to try to log into the cookouts Google shit was very difficult, especially when one phone was registered to it, and you would hope that, you know, he wasn't sick in a hospital somewhere, and you needed to get that second factor from him.
But
and that's for me being a time zone away.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine the difficulties Telia had to go through.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point she was the only other person.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she's in the future.
Literally in the future.
Yeah. So it's like, you know.
So like I could only imagine like what situation they had to where they got locked out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I think I had somebody tweeted me when I had shared the story on Twitter earlier this week. To me, and again, like I guess I'm speaking from some level of privilege or whatever. Like I'm always signed into Google, so this happening is unfathomable, unimaginable. I don't know. It's a big word. Big word.
One of those things.
I would assume that this isn't just like, I don't think it's like a specifically like a Gmail-ish kind of thing, but I think it's more like on the back end of being like, hey, you know, like you get locked out of an account and then you contact customer service, and customer service is like, I got nothing for you. And then it's just like you're dealing with people who don't care. Just like whether, you know, like, hey, I've responded to you for a couple of weeks, which like this is like a deal is in the works, and it's like you can't make it you can't put it together, you know, and this probably has something like millions of dollars, you know, or big money on the line, and just nobody is picking up the phone. Like nobody's answering. Like it's not like, oh, this is an automated process and we have to deal with it like an automated process. This is hey, we're trying to get in touch with a real person to resolve this, and there's no real people. No one cares. No one's at the office because the office has been closed for 2 weeks. And we're just basically just hoping that somebody comes along, maybe the janitor, somebody, maybe, you know, one of the mailmen, you know, the mail guy from the mail room picks up the phone and just being like, gives me some kind of comment or something to the contrary, because yeah, they didn't answer the phone. Like they didn't answer the phone. And it's wild that Google is like, hey yo, it's like last week they were like, oh yeah, we're closing down our game operations, and we're going to work with other companies. We're going to work with established, you know, we're going to work with companies to port their games over to Stadia. And oh yeah, here's a game developer asking, we're not gonna be porting our game over because Google just will not answer our phone calls. They just won't. And that's wild to me.
So looking at the Twitter thread that was linked in that article, like this is a sign of like bad customer support through social media.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've gotten help, and I've gotten legitimate help from like DMing companies through Twitter. Like yes. I've gotten Adobe to write help documentation because of an OBS issue.
Mm-hmm.
because we're like, yeah, like I can't import OBS videos to Adobe Premiere. Oh, that's a known issue. Hey, do you mind writing something so that way I could show to other people in case this is an issue other people run into? Like, sure thing. And like within the day, they had a help document that I can sit there and link to other people. Like looking through this here, like they were like, yeah, you don't have to DM us. Like you could just tell us here in these replies, which make it very unhelpful to follow a chain of events because dumb people also on the internet all have to interject at the same time when people are legitimately looking for help.
That is definitely not the best time to try to resolve a problem.
Yeah, like
in replies.
Yeah, like the tweet thread for this is horrible.
Be like, here's this link to our like, help desk where you can contact or call us at this number. So, and then here's the help desk code where you can refer to it. That's how it should be. Not no,
or again,
hey guy.
Or again, if you're doing it through Twitter, a DM.
Yes. There are many ways to do this. And none of them were and this was not it.
But then looking at ultimately how this resolved, like they provided details in the replies, and Team YouTube was like, yeah, thanks for detail. We checked the channel and it shows active. Can you still access the email that's linked to the YouTube account? Well, if the whole fucking Google account is locked, how the hell do you think they're going to access the Gmail account, dumbass?
Thank you.
And like they essentially told him as much. It's like, the YouTube account does appear to still active as you say, but we can no longer access the Gmail account is the one which was closed as a result and in which we are unable to access.
The fact that I'm on Twitter complaining to you means that I can't access the account. I'm locked out.
Like providing links to try to solve an issue. Again, like if I am talking to you,
right?
Links have failed me. We're beyond this point now. Like this is horrible. This is horrible and like it's a thing like I hate if something of mine that belongs to Google breaks because I have no idea who to fucking call. I was so glad that I found a number to get in contact with Google for Google Wi-Fi at one point. I guess it also helps that, like, for me, I subscribe to Google One. But again, Google One may not do me any good if I can't get access to Google to get access to that number and whatever special code I need. This one to move.
This list of things that I want to drop bows on tech for.
Oh, Sundar.
So yeah, if you were looking for Stadia, if you were looking for the Terraria release on Stadia.
Honestly, if you were checking for Stadia after our podcast last week, you were incorrect.
Right.
Again, I will still say Stadia is a great platform. Let's not discount it. You're not getting original games on it. Still a good platform though.
Not if they don't respond to support emails, Linux.
Again, platform is great. I ain't say shit about their support. Again, that's like me saying Linux is great, but there's no support for that. None.
It's like
this house is something. The inside of this house is amazing. I also can't get access to my fucking keys. This is what this man just said.
Exactly.
There you go. It's a beautiful house.
I will stand by that statement though. Again, as someone who is this is a personal opinion here.
Right.
Again, I can appreciate the tech for what it is and also say, hey, that support for it is shit. This is why I've chosen Linux. Like, the most support I get is Googling shit and hoping that somebody else stumbled upon the problem and fixed it.
Yeah.
So again, like, that's the life I live personally. Like, I will have people, and I still do. Like, 2 days ago, I had someone asking me, hey, Stadia or Luna? And I said, hey, Stadia's platform is great. I love it. The tech is great. It's there. But honestly, if you're going to go for a streaming platform, go for Luna. I may not like Amazon either, but boy, the way they set up Luna is a hell of a lot better than Stadia.
Mm-hmm.
I could love something that be critical of it at the same time.
True. True.
Okay, you know something? We can. I will have to stand that particular thing.
Mm-hmm. How many times I'm like,
thank you.
Like despise many a company, but some of the products that some of those companies makes is good. But that's why we've developed "thank you, but fuck you." That's what we developed that phrase.
I mean,
it's like thank you.
There's a tab. I've got a tab open that's gonna hit this. It's gonna hit this hit this nail right on hit the hammer right on the nail there. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
E3 2021 reportedly going all digital in June. More details coming soon. I mean, nothing new. Glad that they decided that earlier rather than later.
Yeah.
So it's I'm wondering if we're going to get any more like that summer of games to have those nice concentrated pockets of gaming news every 2 or 3 weeks. Which it was nice. It was nice, but it was also weird. I mean, for like podcasts like this, like it's great to have that news stretched out, as opposed to like having to cover like 3 different press conferences all in a day.
Yeah, but I mean that's our new normal now, because it's like it's like you would basically focus on whatever E3 put out for like all of June.
Yeah.
In the old days, but now it's like everything's so kind of spread out. So it's like, yeah, that's nice and all, but that's a week. Like now it's like a week, 2 weeks.
Let it breathe.
Let it metastasize, let it digest. Because you'd have a week of like awesome stuff, but then you would still see stuff coming before and after E3, and then it'd be like E3 game show it like, oh, game of show and the blunders, the great things. You could chew on the E3. You could chew. There was a lot of good meat on the E3 bone pre-pandemic. Now it's like you got Xbox got their own thing, and that's gonna be a few days. Then Microsoft's got their own thing, and that's could be a week to itself. And then Nintendo comes out with something, and then that's a week to itself. And then things ain't got time. Things ain't got time to digest. It's go.
It's nice for a lot of these publishers, a lot of these devs, a lot of these platforms to be able to control a news cycle or two.
Right.
Because if you have like Sony and Microsoft sharing a day, like it's got a whole bunch of confusing information that's going to come out of that. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, if Microsoft, hey, we've scheduled our event for July. So, well, all right, we've got one in August. At least give enough space. Nothing's getting kind of mixed up, cross-pollinated, none of that stuff. Like, your message can be clear and you can have people talking about it days on end and not forgetting about it. I'm happy about this. I'd be interested to see kind of what this looks like. Maybe they actually will have a plan as opposed to last year. But yeah. See, now they gotta compete. It clearly is going to be within hours of each other for the biggest impact. Like one stream's going to start 15 minutes before the other one ends. Like, oh my god, what Twitch stream are going to watch now? I don't know. Where do we go?
Oh yeah, It was a lot when I used to have to try to cover it, because then you'd have like Microsoft be like, especially on Sundays, and Sundays is like my family day, so it's like me and mom used to hang out.
That's
kind of
E3
rough.
Doing shit like that. Well, technically it wasn't E3. E3 technically does not start until Tuesday. Mm-hmm. People like Microsoft and Sony were doing their events on like the day before, kind of leading into E3. But then it's like, again, like EA and Bethesda's like, you know what? Fuck that. we want to do this on Sunday so we can just beat everybody else. It's like, excuse me, this isn't Walmart and this isn't Black Friday. Y'all can't just extend Black Friday out for a whole ass week before the turkey's even in the fucking oven. I'm gonna need y'all to calm the fuck down.
I'm gonna need y'all to chill, because I'm like, bro, I can't be sitting up here trying to, like, you know, have quality time with my mom and then, like, trying to look at a Microsoft live stream on my phone, you know, with a notepad, trying to write down these names so I can go back and look at them again. Like, so I was a little bit too weird. But now it's, you know, it's easy to it's easy to bite, but it's like smaller bites, but it's not really like able to digest on them. And it's like, oh, it's a news cycle, and then that's it. We talk about that for a week and it's gone. We talk about that for a week and it's gone. We talk about this for a week and it's gone. So, you know, not like, oh, the month of E3, everything comes out in a week, but then we still like chewing on it because it's like because IGN has to like write it out as they go. So of course they're gonna take their little time, and they're like, okay, we're gonna need that. Write up an article, write up a feature, talk about that over the next couple of weeks, work this out, best of show. But I just like, you know, kind of dig the new normal, but it's like, still kind of miss the E3s of old in a way.
Nah, I don't.
Kind of.
Look,
I'll get over
it. E3 needed to have been dead a long time ago.
True.
Like, I appreciate the spanning
Didn't we
out.
talk about this like last year around E3 or sometime?
I mean, we did have another show that we did that was similar to this one. And we did,
because we were talking about this, and we were just like, listen, there was a lot of things that E3 was, and that it was a thing that it served, and now it's kind of like that time has passed. We talked about that last year when E3 came around, and we were just like.
But that was also around the time she was like, they need to cancel it. They need to cancel it. What is going on? There's a whole pandemic outside. They need to cancel this.
Yeah, it was like, like the pandemic was kicking off, and pandemic had fully kicked. Yeah, it was fully kicked off.
I mean,
it was like
we were out here like never minding the whole like we were just like, for one, there's a whole Panasonic.
Yeah.
But two, also in the middle of that whole Panera Bread.
Is the CDI coming back? Somebody mentioned Panasonic. Is the CDI coming back?
Well, I mean, maybe.
No, that's
but it's just like with the whole.
That's
like
never coming back.
With the whole Panasonic happening, that definitely put like that extra nail in the coffin there.
Yeah.
But
but the thing is,
the way that companies were starting. But before that happened, even if we didn't have this whole Panopticon, right? Companies were already starting to do their own exclusive things and events and buy their own spaces completely separate and apart from E3. And there was like article after article after article after article after article after article of companies who were doing their own things apart from E3 because of how radically it had changed in the audiences that it was starting to cater to. So like, you try to come back in 2021 for what? Like, if I needed a nap, I could just play the nighttime loop playlist that I currently have on Spotify and call that one a wrap. Y'all can tell me about the games tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what this looks like. I'm
not out here for your. I'm not here for your suit, your bad hairstyles, and your mismatched Jordans. I'm not here for it.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I do miss the G4 stuff too, but again, like when that was the only way to get that information, it was great. But we're like on web like what 20.0 at this point. Like shit changes every damn day. Like you can get your fucking gaming news through TikTok. I'd recommend that you don't always come here. Definitely come here to this one spot and always get all your news, please.
Right.
But yeah, like don't look anywhere else. Just come here. As I say, yeah, I totally miss getting my news from one spot. But hey, why do I need to anymore? But yeah, like it served it like just like E3. It served its purpose, but we're past that now.
We're past that now.
We're past that.
It's like been there, done that, wrote the book about it. We're not really worried about it. I'm definitely at that point now where I'm like, I don't have to do the whole E3 thing to like see things. Like Nintendo was one of the first that were like, yo, we're just not even going to E3 anymore. We got our directs now. Not only even do directs, but like when they did directs, it was like, oh, we'll do an E3 direct. Boom. Here's all the cool thing. And then they win the news cycle for however many days or weeks. Now they don't even have to do.
I wouldn't say they won it because they were still doing those directs at the time they would normally be on the stage.
Right.
So they were still competing with like Sony and Microsoft the day before, and then whatever developers and publishers were out that day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like now, like yeah, they've got weeks to breathe. Speaking of people who need breaths, somebody who needs to really just take a huge big breath because boy, shit is fucked over there in Poland.
Whew.
Not CD Projekt Red again.
Oh,
not again.
Oh yeah.
Isn't it something new every week?
Yes.
Like, can I just say CD Projekt Red is for 2021 what Ubisoft was for 2020. Every time we turn around, like I just woke up. I haven't even properly gotten to the bathroom to go and pee, and y'all have fixed something. Y'all fucked something else up. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Right.
Like, just like stop. Take a break.
Mm-hmm.
So the developers and publishers of 2020's hot mess, but not really, depending on who you ask, Cyberpunk 2077, in which you may go around and hack things, got themselves hacked last week.
Whew.
Or was it? No, it was this week. Excuse me. This was actually yesterday. Excuse me. Put respect on this date.
Oof.
They got hacked. Now that's where I thought the story would end, right? So it was shared. I had to make sure this was legitimate because people be faking shit from CD Projekt Red all the damn time.
Oh yeah.
So they put out a statement saying, "Hey, we got hacked." Actually, this is 2 days ago. Excuse me. According to this tweet, apparently they updated that article yesterday. This happened 2 days ago. Said they got hacked. Then they posted, CD Projekt Red posted the notepad, the TXT file to the hack. Reading, "Hello CD Projekt, your have been epically pwned," with bad grammar and all. Whew. "We have dumped full copies of the source codes from your Perf4 server for Cyberpunk 2077, Witcher 3, Gwent, and the unreleased version of Witcher 3. Which, that's news in and of itself. There's an unreleased version of Witcher 3 out there. I wonder if that's like the next gen version, like the PS5, Xbox Series X version.
Possibly.
We've also dumped all of your documents relating to accounting and administration, legal, HR, investor relations, and more. Also, we have encrypted all of your servers, but we understand that you can most likely recover from backups," which it's nice of them to notice that. Okay, I hope that CD Projekt Red isn't crippled from this. But that's not why they did this.
Mm-hmm.
If we will not come to an agreement, then your source codes will be sold or leaked online and your documents will be sent to our contacts in gaming journalism. Your public image will go down the shitter even more, and people will see how you shitty your company function. Wow. Okay, like hackers, if you have time to hack, please have time to proofread your ransom notes. Thank you. That's just a personal note for me. I'd appreciate it.
I don't know. I don't think the proofreading really matters when they have that many assets. But then
I have to read it. This is for me. This is a personal note for me. I have to read this. Look, I'm selfish. I want things too. Investors will lose trust in your company. They haven't already? Okay. Investors will lose trust in your company and the stock will dive even lower.
Ooh,
You have 48 hours to contact us.
Ooh, I think that ship has already sailed.
It has. Now, I do not have links to that, but it has been reported that some of my source code has already been sold.
Mm-hmm.
They were starting the bidding at like I think 7 million.
Like imagine a source code, your game source code out there, and for reasons somebody fixes it and then just says, "Here you go." Gentlemen, start up your torrents, and then just be like a fully fixed, completed, not say bug free, but stable rendition of the game out there in the ethereal for free. You know, like, I mean, Witcher's out there, yeah, but it's like, damn, just out there.
Yeah, so the statement says like, "Hey, we will not negotiate with terrorists."
Reminds me of a song.
Huh?
This reminds me of a song when Kevin said "caught out there," and I'm just like, "You right though. Let me get Kellis up on the screen real quick and have her yell, 'I hate you so much' right now, like for 3 minutes straight."
Mm-hmm.
I
mean, out there.
So yeah, CD Projekt said that they're not negotiating with terrorists. They've also assured ex-employees that we don't possess evidence that any of your personal data was accessed. However, we still recommend caution, i.e., enabling fraud alerts. If you have any questions, please write a privacy team.
Of course not.
So it doesn't seem like any gamer information was compromised.
Well, that's good.
But it seems like it's everything internal.
Right.
So employees have to be worried, which, may not be a very good thing because people are pissed about this game. And best believe they're gonna start looking for people who made the game. Say, "Yo, why?" Is, like they're like that one piece, that one piece information. Like apparently, if their dick size didn't look all that big in that game, why you make my dick look small? Oh, I found the penis artist. I'm gonna hit him up. But yeah,
major.
Yes.
The fact that you threw out the words penis artist into the ethereal.
Sorry, you say penis artist?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
I'm like, oh, sir. We have to hold up. We have to take pause on this. Not the schlong artist THC. No.
So, are we talking about Liam from Monster Prom?
I mean, is he also working for his CD Projekt Red? Because if not, I think he's okay. I think Liam's okay.
Like, that is just wild to me that people are like but the thing that gets me about the statement was, hey, we're like, thankfully they're not just gonna post all that stuff to the dark web. They're like, oh yeah, we're not gonna post to the dark web that we know of. But they are saying like, hey, we're gonna drop this off to the gaming version of the Washington Post, and we're gonna expose you for what you are. I'm thinking like, bro,
y'all, do we want to talk about just how like CD Projekt Red, both as a game company and then in terms of security of infrastructure and then everything else on top of that, has just been one really long, thick parade of fuck ups? Like, one after the other. It's like it just keeps coming and it keeps going, and there's more to it, and there's a list, and it never ends.
It's
Never
right. Like, wasn't
it's
it
one
last week that we
game.
were talking about like last year? Were we like not last year, last week? Were we talking last week about how they said, hey, don't add mods to your game? It could literally give people access to your whole computer.
Sorry, update on that. They did patch it the next day. It was fixed. It was fixed after the show went up.
Mm-hmm.
Are they fixing this? I just need to know.
Nah, this whoever's involved in this, they're fucked. This fucked. Hopefully they'll patch the hole, but right now they're fucked.
Yeah, that statement about
There's somebody who held something hostage a couple of episodes back, and they're just like, "You gonna give us $93 billion in Bitcoin?"
I believe that was Capcom.
Yeah, it was Capcom.
Y'all, security in 2021. I don't understand how.
And yet.
I mean, we want to talk about security issues. I mean, let's talk about SolarWinds. And while all of America's federal infrastructure probably needs to be ripped out, just out of the ground, out of the walls, everything.
Just throw the whole.
Like I was listening to a late night show host. They were talking about changing the Wi-Fi password in the White House so that way Trump doesn't use it. I was like, nah, like they need to throw the whole ass router away.
Mm-hmm. Like, the whole router,
everything out. If there's anything in our White House after he left, no, it's compromised. What do we do?
It's compromised. That Wi-Fi password is already been sold, man.
Stalker, yes I am. It's bad. It's really bad. It's really bad.
It's really bad because
really
we have all this money and not enough to fix it. We have all this money. We have all this money and not enough to fix it. Oops.
But yeah, again, it's sad that I remember life before December 10th. December 9th, look, CD Projekt Red was like one of the best companies. Ain't did you no wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, there were game reviewers who knew different.
Yeah. Like,
so maybe like November 30th, CD Projekt Red was the best company ever with the most wildly anticipated game. Actually, no, let's back that up even further. Prior to the release of that art, maybe even before then.
Yeah.
Like when they just announced let's just say when Witcher 3 came out.
Yes.
CD Projekt Red was the best company.
Right.
But when December 10th hit,
yes.
Like they were, it's like the trajectory of CD Projekt Red was going down as soon as it started showing things about Cyberpunk.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, did it take a nosedive. It's like it did an inverse GameStop.
Yeah.
Just the worst.
It failed spectacularly. It failed in a way that was entertaining. Like it failed. This is not like it failed and people were hurt, people were thinking. It failed in such a way that the failure was almost like art. It was like we're literally going to be looking at this for many months.
Yeah.
And deconstructing this thing down to its DNA. I'm not saying this is Anthem bad because Anthem is actually coherent. Like Anthem to a degree worked. It was bad in its own ways, but it didn't fail in its own ways. It failed in its own particular way, and that stuff was entertaining. But this failed on a technical level. It failed in a marketing level. It failed in a logistical level. and it failed. It failed in a profitable level, and it made money, but it failed in such a way that whatever monies it made was it. It's like it's not gonna make no more money after. It's not gonna make no more money after this.
I mean, like Tinkle said, like it's bad management.
Bad
Management.
management.
They covered everybody who had money, and left everybody in the fucking dust, especially
Right.
the QA. And
Right.
like Stalker said, I mean, it's not like Anthem had issues with transphobia.
It didn't. It did not. That's what I'm saying. It failed in its own way. And that, like I say, I'm not saying like, oh, Anthem did,
Like, there just wasn't
Anthem-
content in Anthem. There wasn't enough content in Anthem to justify people buying it.
Right.
But like, it was not like, again, on a technical level. I've not played a lot of Anthem, but it wasn't bad on a technical level. It was a functioning game. Shit fucking worked.
I played it in beta, and I was like
that's about as much as I played it. And it's like that was enough for me. It's like, yeah, I think I might pass on this. I think at the time I had Origin Access Premiere, whatever the shit was on PC. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna get that for free anyway, or I'm paying the subscription. I'll get it. I'll get around to it. But yeah, like it wasn't shit I was gonna pay for. Like, nah, I'm okay. I don't need this in my life.
Right.
But yeah, Cyberpunk though is this.
Yeah,
I hate that I gave them money, but it's like it's still the thing. It's like I have to see this.
It's like you want it to be like, I can't help but to see the hot mess. I need to see the hot mess for myself,
and not just see it. Like I need to experience it for myself.
Right.
I mean, if anything, at a certain point, like it became a thing. I was testing hardware against.
Yeah, it was early access. You bought into the early access,
very much so, and paid way too much for it.
Yeah, it's like an expensive as early access game.
Yeah, like and also like Stalker bitch earlier. It was like Tom and Jerry. Like they were constantly just like running into rakes in the yard over and over again. And like, I would like to say like they failed so hard. Like it seemed like they were trying to fail.
Right.
Like I'm wondering if Cyberpunk 2077 isn't the game, but our collective experiences of this game. Through playing it, through talking about it, through observing it in one form or fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Like if this is the game, if us talking about it right now is Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah, I think
that's about as close as we're gonna get without getting hacked.
Yeah,
well,
I think one of my favorite Cyberpunk moments was when Betty Nix, awesome streamer, was playing Cyberpunk 2077, and her character's boobs popped out through the tank top. And to see Betty's face when that happened, it was like, it's like literally like both shock, hilarity, and like oh crap, like So that was by far one of my favorite Cyberpunk 2077 moments. Watching this streamer react to her character's titties popped out in the menus of her trying to like try on clothing, and the character's boobs popped out.
And see, the thing is, and it's sad that my mom went here. How much you want to bet that like men saw that happen and was like, all right, what do I need to do in this game to get this to happen for me?
Fire.
So that was great. That was one of those like, okay, yeah, that was indeed a moment. Yeah.
Oh, boy. Hey, remember when I said that, hey, we can enjoy content and things and also be hypercritical of them? Huh? Remember when I said that about Stadia and how I love it, but yeah, the support is shit? I know there's a lot of people who love League of Legends, but boy, the management of Riot is horrible.
Okay, so y'all can catch me in these streets dragging Riot as a company at every available opportunity because,
well, here's one.
like,
Here's one. One
oh
right here.
my god,
One is right here. Riot Games CEO accused of sexual harassment and gender discrimination in a new lawsuit. A new one. In 2021.
So can
2 days ago.
let me be like 300% real about that. If you're surprised and you know it, raise your hands. Not me. Like literally, just not me.
Can I don't know if I could put my hands any lower without bending down at this point. Like just.
Expectations are super low. I have so low, I have to dig a hole to find them. Like, just like, nah, fam. When I literally tell you that both I am not surprised, and I am not surprised, disgusted, but I'm also like, why? Like, it's the whole thing. It's the whole argument not the argument, but the whole discussion we had about with Ubisoft last year, where it's just like, I'm surprised they are just not. Nobody is in jail at this point. Like, I'm surprised nobody is in court for crimes because crimes happen. Crimes happen.
Like, I want to remind everybody that there was a literal protest at Riot Games because people were taking a stance against people who had come forward with different stories of like very uncomfortable situations and or like abuse. And it's one of those, oh, y'all didn't listen the first time when we told you what was happening. And so now here we are again looking at the exact same stories and going, oh my goodness, I can't believe. I'm gonna need y'all to stop.
We've said this once.
Now, if there are people, like, for the people who are out here, like, we're just out here looking at Riot, like, once again, y'all are out here being gross. That's one thing. But for so many people to just, like, be like, I can't believe this, and, like, the levels of outrage, it's like, y'all weren't paying attention the last time we talked to y'all about this, and we told you about this a whole year in advance. You had time.
You had time?
Like, on multiple occasions had people gone on like some form of strike or another to be like, yo, right, you are fucking up and you need to fundamentally fix some things.
Like, this was happening, like, that happened during the pandemic, if I'm not mistaken.
Sure did.
So it's like, where were y'all? Were y'all just binging Tiger King over and over? That shit came out in March. So like, what happened?
Yeah.
Just, on a kind of a larger note about this, I really need people to start paying attention when people or the impacted people of a group tell you things. What is happening out here?
Uh-oh.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes. You heard it the entire time.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, I need people to pay attention when you were being told things, because the same people who are shocked about this Riot thing are also like, I can't believe this stuff about Joss Whedon that just came out. We told y'all like 2 years and change ago that this person was fucking gross.
Told you many times.
But then when it's kind of like, surprise, they like the mystery machine pulls up, the Scooby Gang pulls off the case, and they rip the mask off of Joss Whedon, and it's like, no, still terrible, same person, we're hauling them off to jail. Like, what did y'all expect? Need y'all to don't, need y'all to not, need y'all to listen.
Let's see who's under this creeper mask. Joss Whedon. Yeah. And I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids and your dog too. Like, bro.
Free time. It's so exhausting because it's like marginalized people were telling you this. all the femme presenting folks who worked on the set with them were telling you this. And it's like, when every, I want to put out two things here. When like one person posted that story and every woman who had ever worked with him was just like, I am in the middle of things like raising a family and stuff, but let me just go ahead and slide that +1 on that remark, because that was absolutely accurate. I better not find anybody that I know acting a fool on these timelines and being like, I don't know, there just doesn't seem to be a lot of evidence for this. Throw yourself in the trash.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing. The second thing is, dear people who like me are male in these spaces. I'm gonna need you to stop leaving these women for dead because you want a crumb of clout, okay? Need you to don't. If you see these women speaking out here, you worked on the same sets with them and saw the same things that they did, you need to be saying something. And if you don't know about that, you should be concerned, because that probably means people thought you were not safe to talk to.
Right. Like it's really sad. Like it's the same shit over and over and over and over and over again.
Same shit, different day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those. It's a cycle that happens, but it doesn't have to.
Right.
It just doesn't. And I need people to not. But as we do.
I'm gonna try to pivot from that as easy as we can. All right, so we've talked about people getting hacked because the shit's probably not up to snuff. I don't want you to be one of those people. Mm-hmm. North Korea is out here is hacking people with Chrome. Update your Chrome.
Update it.
If you have not done it already, done so. And not just Chrome, anything that is running off of Chromium. So it's Chrome, Chromium, Brave, Edge. I think Opera is running off of Chromium now. Fuck it, I don't know. Look, it doesn't matter. Update your browser if you can. Immediately on every platform you got. This is another thing where it's like, hey, they are actively exploiting shit as we speak. Please, please, please update your shit. For those on Mac, there was a new Mac update that came out earlier this week. Initially, it looked like it was only for MacBook Pros. Apparently, there was a power issue with MacBook Pros, but later in the day, like about an hour or so later, people were reporting that apparently this is available for all Macs, and it actually included the Sudo bug that we had reported on last week. So please, 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 if you have a Mac, update your Macs. If you've not done so already, please do so. They're not chill in these streets. And for our deals, next week, Rage 2 is up for free. What is... I remember what... Normally they're having this... Oh, there it is. I was wondering what was free this week. This week, Housecon 6 Lightspeed Edition is free in the Epic Games Store. But next week, Rage 2 and Absolute Drift. Stalker says FTK has their newest DLC on a small sale still, I believe. FTK, what is it? I feel like I should know that acronym.
FTK. What is FTK?
Actually, I know FTK for the kids, but I feel like it means something else in this context. For the King.
Oh, for the King. For the King.
So yeah. That where can they find that, Stalker? That may have come through my list, but I was not paying attention. This week has been a week.
Yeah, possibly Steam and
okay.
Epic might have it also as well.
It's on Steam, and it just came out. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank you. So definitely check that out for the King. It's on a little small sale. DLC came out yesterday for us, so check that out as well.
Mm-hmm.
But that's gonna do it. Hey,
We knocked this bad boy out in record time.
I know.
2 hours and change.
A little touch and go, but we did it.
We did.
So, Kev, what you got going on this week, buddy?
Okay. So, green screen. That's definitely a thing. Let's see. Just been like absolutely engrossed in HBO Max. Like, I mean, HBO Max. I don't know what happened, like within the last 2 weeks, but then everything just started dropping on HBO Max that I love. Like Head of the Class, the Wayans brothers drop, like whole bunch of really good, like old schools, like Cartoon Network shows. Not to mention the movies. Been trying to watch some of the movies. Like gonna be watching Judas and the Black Messiah. That looks good. Watched Earwig and the Witch, which is a Studio Ghibli movie by Goro Miyazaki, who is like Hayao's son. And I gotta tell you, really great visuals, really nice. One of their first CGI films by Hayao Miyazaki, and it is disappointing as fuck. It's an absolute disappointment. And by the time it gets good, when it's really starting to like kick the tires and light the fires, the movie's over. And then I find that the credits were the more interesting part of the movie because it expanded more on what went down. There are some characters. One is called the Mandrake. He is my favorite part of the movie, and because he basically has like demons who Uber eat him food, and he's like, "Hey, yo, give me that sandwich from that place that I like so much." And then all of a sudden, a sandwich appears on the table, and I'm like, "That power is actually pretty cool." So it's like, so that part's great. But it is a very disappointing movie. Now, if you like Miyazaki and you would like to watch it and you have HBO Max, please go check it out at least and judge for yourself. But I am highly disappointed by that movie. I don't think it's bad, but I definitely think it's disappointing. Because Miyazaki means quality. And even in the most like low budget, like small produced movies like My Neighbor the Yamadas, my Neighbor Yamadas still have a lot of heart and still have a lot of heart and a lot of like, a lot of like really, really deep themes in it, but it's very disappointing. And I'm like, I'm glad that he took a risk. I'm glad he took a chance, but it is not good. It is not good to me. So I would definitely recommend, if you have HBO Max, go check it out. But if you would like to watch something instead, I highly recommend Porco Rosso, Tales of Earthsea, Nausicaa, and Princess Mononoke. Matter of fact, I might just end up watching Princess Mononoke at some point. So yeah, very disappointing.
This person is so like committed to quality, right? That they were just like, I was retired, but and came right up out retirement.
He never retired
to keep the quality on point.
He never retires, and I know he's after he sees what happened with like Earwig and the Witch. He's probably like, "Oh, see, this is why I can't give shit to my son, to my children. I'm finna start doing this my damn self." And it feels, and it definitely does feel like somebody. It definitely feel like Hayao Miyazaki's child made this, like it has all the promise of a Miyazaki movie, but then it's like it doesn't really like play on its own merits, and it's like, and by the time the movie really starts cranking in there, like it's done, and then you're like, well, damn, I needed 20 more minutes. Like I needed 20 more minutes of this movie to like really flesh out some of those characters and themes that you were trying to flesh out. But it really just feels like a slice of life movie. Which I'm good with a slice of life movie, but that's not how Miyazaki rolls with his slice of life movies. Like, but yeah, it's not bad. It's disappointing.
That's a weird spot to be into, because if people are just like, yeah, I'm expecting this from you because you're Hayao's son, and it's kind of like, okay, but that's not the story I want to tell, or those aren't the movies that I'm trying to make.
Right. And that's fine if he wants to like make his own movie, but the movie has to make sense and it has to ebb and flow. So if we take Miyazaki out of the picture and we say of the third with the classic third act structure, you've kind of like shortened your third act to like not even an exposition dump, but more like, okay, see, here's what really happened, but we're not going to explain the whole makeup and mythos of this world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like one particular character is like, I adopted you so that you can work for me. And then that person be like, oh, cool. Teach me your ways. And I'm like, huh? Okay, we'll go along with it. Yeah. So I would just like temper your, like, if you're going to see it, temper your expectations way down. Take it as a movie. I will never not say don't watch it, but I would definitely say lower your expectations.
Curb your enthusiasm.
Yeah, curb your enthusiasm. Yeah, because it was. Which again, if you have HBO Max, I definitely recommend you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. So, but yeah, bit of a disappointment. And I watched Princess Mononoke, and I had a fun time about that. Even though I've seen that movie like 300 times, but
I think everybody has that one. If they are into Miyazaki movies, everybody has like that one that is kind of like, I will always watch this movie every single time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a different thing for everybody. Like, mine is absolutely Spirited Away.
Oh yeah, Spirited Away. Because you can have those non-secular movies where it's like there's a lot going on and not a lot of it's making sense, but it still ends. But it gives you so much world building and so much things to like embrace that it just feels so good and it's like, oh, I wanted 10 more minutes because I wanted to see more of this, of the bathhouse, and I like of Yubaba's bathhouse. But instead it's like, I want 10 more minutes because I really need to know, instead of I really need 20 more minutes to realize what the fuck's happening. Like I need more understanding of who is he, why is he doing what he's doing, what do you mean these themes mean this, why are you doing that again, like why is any of this, why do you not want to leave these people, but then you don't say goodbye, but then you leave, but then you asking and wondering how they do it, but you don't get the closure from the people that you spent all of your life with. Huh? Yeah.
You're like, what is happening is my question. I just want to know.
Yeah, I want to know more what's going on. And but yeah. Enjoy it. No, I take it back. I didn't enjoy it. I like the themes. I like some of the characters. I like the art style. I'm definitely waiting for more. I'm definitely waiting for more women to cosplay Bella Yaga and the Mandrake. Like Bella Yaga is like definitely waiting for those Bella Yaga makeup tutorials that I'm gonna pop up. Yeah. with the two color eyeshadow. So but yeah. That's been my week.
Sorry, I've been trying to track down some issues. I was kind of putting in a support ticket for Pretzel because, again, this lyrics in music has been distracting me all night.
Yeah,
like, okay, somebody please fix this. I'm going crazy. Yeah, like I tried the Pizzle Pack by T-Pain the other day. Yeah, was not a fan. I mean, it's great music. Sounded awesome. But yeah, I did not realize T-Pain rapped on that. I thought it was just instrumentals. I mean, that's also what I get for listening to the first track and none of the other ones beforehand. Like, oh, okay, all right, cool. This is a good song, but was not expecting any of this at all. Anyway, I'll get to me in a second. Sid, what you got going on this week?
So, some things came up this week that I forgot were happening. So yesterday I got to do an interview thing, and that should be published soon. Talking about like tabletop things that I'm into and stuff. And now there might be like extra projects involved. But next week I'm taking a couple of days off to catch up on day job work things. So I will not be streaming at my normal times, but tabletop games on Wednesday, where I play a very charming club DJ, who gets to meet their divine parents. So that's going to be a thing. If y'all are into tabletop stuff, you can come catch me at Wesselhausen. That is the name of the channel there. And then also next week, I believe that's the 16th. Okay. So also next week, I am going to be on the podcast called Breakfast at Ruby's.
That's cool.
I think like early afternoon, like right around lunchtime, where we're just going to talk about all sorts of things. I have no idea what is going to come up, but it'll probably be a lot of fun. And then next Thursday, I will be here. Because of course I would be. And I think that's most of next week, unless, wild things happen at work, at which point we'll all be here next week, but I will also be like attacking people and screaming at the top of my lungs, depending, because, work life is a stressful time.
Yes, it is. 21st is next week, yeah. Is it? That's the week after. Unless the 21st is not February 21st.
No, I think that's about it, really. We'll talk about whatever happens on the week of the 21st whenever we come to next week.
Now I am super curious. Oh boy. All right, so for me, again, getting back into streaming, I've been playing some Yakuza. Starting off with Yakuza 0, which has been interesting. If you check out the last stream I did, again, we went to look for Tachibana real estate and nothing else, literally nothing else. We did not go investigate why people were selling things they shouldn't be selling at the age they were selling it at, because no, why would anybody do that? Why would I do that? Also, people wearing pompadours. Just no, it's not a good look.
Sir, now I'm gonna stop you right there. That is an entire damn lie. Janelle Monáe walks this earth.
Okay, so sorry, I forgot about Janelle Monáe.
We will stop you right there. Right there.
The individual wearing the pompadour, Yakuza 0, no.
Okay. Fair enough. I was about to say, we have some iconic people with some of these pompadours. Elvis never counts, but Kurabara and Janelle Monáe absolutely do. We will not disrespect these people.
Kurabara still rock. Yeah, rock.
It is a baffling hairstyle. I will never get it, but again, to each their own. I don't know. I've gone a year without a haircut. My son got a haircut today, and boy, I am making fun of him for that. The little peanut head.
That's your kid. You're responsible for this.
Look, I did not want him to go out there and get a haircut. He has a second pair. And look, she wanted it more than she wanted a haircut more than I didn't want him to have the haircut. So
do y'all see him like with the speed throwing this woman under the bus? Do y'all see it? I'm just asking.
It is not a speed in which I've done that. This has been a stance I've held since the panorama started. Like, we should not be out here doing things like this, but she's done it twice, and hey, there's nothing I can do about that.
So what you said was, all right, so I can't tell you not to cut his head, but I can absolutely clown him for it right after it happens. That's not his fault. He didn't do this. He didn't make these decisions. He was so over here playing Legos and watching like Minecraft on YouTube.
Surprisingly, he doesn't watch Minecraft as much as he watches a surprising amount of Mario. So I'm a very proud parent for that. But yeah, this week has been kind of iffy. So it's been one. There's only been one stream this week outside of the show. Should hopefully be back tomorrow. Next week, streaming some more. I got some all-in-one computers in from work, and now I need to figure out what the hell I'm going to do with them. I want to mount them, but also I did not know all-in-one computers were heavy. I mean, it could be on account of the fact that they're whole-ass computers and a monitor.
Yeah, they're dense.
Very dense machines. It was not prepared for that today. But yeah, I've got them in the house now. Got to get them installed. Not entirely sure how I'm going to set them up because they now because they're monitors, it will take up space on the desk. I'm thinking about mounting them, but I've got to do my research to make sure that if I buy mounts for them, they won't break. It won't either break the mounts or themselves. Ultimately deciding maybe I should get another desk, but then my wife, who was also trying to buy a desk, is like, why do you need more desks?
Maybe you need to just take things off your desk, maybe.
But where would I put the things that are already on that desk? See, this is problems.
You don't have like a bookshelf. You don't have like shelving space. Have you considered maybe you don't need all of these things?
I mean, look, I can show you the picture of what's on that desk that I'm worried about. This one here, the one that I'm currently using, yeah, there's no space because there are monitors here for this PC. But the workspace, I can show you what I'm working with. Actually, as a matter of fact, I think that picture exists somewhere. I'll figure it out. It's not like these computers for testing, so they probably won't be on all the time anyway, where I can just kind of take them off, take them on as I need them. But I was kind of hoping to have them on all the time, but yeah. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Honestly, I think outside of that, that's about it. Also, last week or Sunday, I shot a video doing some VR for Vader Immortals. That's on YouTube and over on the site. Very interesting YouTube project that I decided to take and actually developed I did not develop. I'm pretty sure somebody else figured this shit out a long time ago, but I've never come across this idea of attaching microphones to camera tripods. But hey, that's a thing, and it works. It is amazing. Yeah. But the thing is, I realized
you mean like the gorilla arm tripods.
No, like the normal tripods of yore.
Interesting.
Apparently the base to the Elgato Wave has the same like little hole that cameras have, which I think was designed on purpose from Elgato because also their multi-mount setup has the same screw. So I imagine like all of this was supposed to be interchangeable on purpose, and I discovered it by accident or realized it by accident. Again, was not discovered. I'm pretty sure that was the plan. So I've been trying to figure out more ways to shoot more videos. I'm sitting on 2 ideas. One of trying to maybe create a daily tech news show to supplement this show. Another thing is to shoot a video on that iOS 14.5 beta with the whole mask and how it's great until you point it into somebody else's face who's also wearing a mask and it unlocks your phone. So found out that problem on Wednesday. Also found a way around. I found a way to solve it, but it's a thing of like you have to be really cognizant of what's about to happen in the near future for you to implement it, because it's not something that will smack you in the face. So I'm still looking into that, seeing like what steps need to be taken to kind of protect yourself. Because I don't want to put the sensationalized version of, hey, anybody can lock your phone with a mask, but also knowing that Apple put in a safeguard to make sure that doesn't happen. So working through that stuff, but outside of that, I think that's it. I don't got nothing else. Okay. CPU still doing great. Was able to play No Man's Sky in VR without it churning.
But can you play Stardew?
Look, I cannot comment at the moment as to whether or not I can or cannot play Stardew. Given preliminary tests from other video games that I've had some struggles with, it appears that I can play Stardew on this system and stream it. But again, that testing has yet to be done yet.
Can you play Crysis 3?
I don't think I own that title, but I think I'm okay. I think I'm okay on Crysis as well. Again, the new benchmark, unfortunately, whether we like it or not, is Cyberpunk 2077, and no, I still cannot play that game at 1080-60 at high settings.
Well, I mean, you can't play the game. You can't say more than 8 megabytes worth of data on it. You can't install mods for it. You probably can't have a password on it either, because the people who are messing it up, you would think if I lived in a country that regularly interfered with democracy, I would know about cybersecurity, but we don't. So here we are.
You're right. Look, we will find a benchmark worthy of this Ryzen 9. And I guess it's Stardew. But yeah, it's running so far. I've not had any issues with it, with everything else. But yeah, I guess once we get these Stardew tests in, we'll have the definitive answers of whether or not I'm good to go. On that note, it seems like shit is really hitting the fan downstairs. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to wrap up the show.
We're going to get out of here.
Yeah. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of Tech Talk Thursdays for February 11, 2021. On behalf of Kev, it's your boy Kev. On behalf of Sinziak, on behalf of the GOAT, Idio Sananka, I've been one of your hosts, Marcus Major Link Summers. Thank you all so much. Of course, you all could have been anywhere in the world watching any stream, or you could have been reading the tech and gaming news yourself, but no, you allowed us to properly serve it to you without any hacks. And we thank you so much for that. Of course, all I've got left.
By the way, I'm going to have to interrupt this ending because we haven't mentioned it today. Back up your stuff. This is your reminder this week. Back up your stuff.
Yeah,
we're going to do two-factor authentication on your stuff.
Yep.
Password managers. Use different passwords for different sites.
Yep.
Let your password manager handle them, because it's not possible for y'all in the middle of a pandemic with everything else going on in your brain to remember 16 passwords for emails you've had for like 8 years.
Don't write them on a notepad. Don't do that.
Yeah, not to mention all the streaming services that we use in the middle of this panini bread.
Also, stop sharing your damn passwords with your family. Look, I understand y'all trying to make a savings, but that is dangerous.
That is dangerous.
Stop doing it.
Tell them to buy their own Discovery Plus. Tell them to watch their own Vanilla Ice project. Don't. There you go.
Yes, on that note, thank y'all so much. Love you. Peace. How?
Wakanda forever. Keep bumping.